Welcome back, everyone. And, well, I have a question for all of you lovely people at home. Do you like some mud with your Valorant?
I love mud.
Because that's what we got in that last one. Holy smokes. Absolute shenanigans across the board. I mean, still, we're seeing just... I mean, honestly, I don't even know. Like, there were moments where, like, you know, you think, okay, there's a setup here. Oh, wait, never mind. There is no setup. Oh, well, there's going to be a... never mind. They're just circling around one another, flanking, reflanking. What a wild game that was.
It was a head-scratcher. I was looking at it, the first 2 rounds especially, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, you know what, Prx is probably going to close this out. And then EDG starts getting round after round, and then it's like going into these types of situations, this is getting onto round 9, I believe, where... Nope, this is not that one yet, but there's just like all sorts of things. Oh, this is it, actually.
Yeah,
this is round 9. So basically, like, Prx is coming in for the retake, and, you know, they're putting pressure onto that main. They have 2 people covering and tapping the spike. But on the side of EDG, it's not really what we came to expect from them. We're having a Silva backing off to do the Hunter's Fury, and then like the Omen's in the corner by himself, and the KO's not right. You know, it's what's going on here. They're all playing so individualistic, like they didn't have their comms on, like the headset on, and I pointed this out before, but it really felt like that. There were other instances I think we'll get to as well where it's just like someone sees an enemy and we're just still like La La Land, what is going on? And it was a very big head-scratcher moment because I thought for sure Prx was just going to steamroll through. Yeah. And then suddenly EDG's pulling it back. You're like, what's going on?
It looked that way. EDG, when they were getting their post plants, the fundamentals were off. Chichu's lurks were so often coming once the team was already dead. It was so messy to start. But then the second half, it continued being muddy, muddy Valorant. But it was instead EDG coming out on top of so many of these moments, stepping up in the chaos, players like Kong Kong having big impact, and Prx, the team, making a lot of those same mistakes, not clearing their corners. Look at the way they're fighting into backside in this round. One player goes it first, then they're getting slowed off by their own slow. One more player fights in. It's all individual.
Like, everyone just turning around, like one person's running backwards, one person's running forwards. They can't figure out who they want to push, and then EDG somehow narrowly comes out on top of that situation. But yeah, just piggybacking about that Chichu thing, there was a round 7 where EDG is going out aim with 3 people. You know, they're going out elbow onto this site, and it's just like Chichu just starts his B main walk, like starting to walk from T-spawn into main, right? Not even like walking onto the site, he's walking into the main choke point. Like, what is going on with those types of situations? He's got to be with the pack more. But speaking of second half, all the hits are going towards B, and that's where Chichu is, so he's involved in the game that way.
It's 5v5 again.
It's 5v5
and then that's
again,
all good for EDG. I mean, yeah, credit to nobody. Kong Kong having some moments in that second half to keep this team in the game. And I mean, we talked about the possibility of a mental block, of them looking out of it after getting stomped on map number 1. But this is the game. No matter how muddy it is, no matter how many mistakes are made by both teams, in an elimination match like this, all that matters is getting that map win and keeping your mental in it for the final map. And it wasn't the cleanest, but that's what EDG did. They stay alive.
To quote Vin Diesel, whether you win by an inch or a mile, winning's winning. And that's literally what happened here. Now we're going, though, to Lotus. This is where you got to put up or shut up. This is it, right? And we're going to Lotus here still. Give the folks a preview, maybe, of what we should be seeing potentially here.
Okay, if anything goes by what happened last map, although last map didn't follow the same logic from the round the map before.
Logic's out the window.
You have Omen, you have Clove, and you have Neon, probably, if the picks go the same way for the side of EDG. And the way that everyone's kind of individually just running around taking these duels, I think that could actually work in their favor again here. And Prx need to be able to reset after that last map. You would think that they had the momentum going forwards, and it's been stopped. how are they going to rebound? That was a question for EDG.
Yeah.
Now it's for PRX.
Yeah, this smoke comp is really good on your attack side. It's segmenting your fights into very discrete areas. Instead of having to take all of like a rebel at the same time, you can smoke off one section, isolate these fights really easily. It's a really like heavy like team fight brawl comp, and that's exactly how EDG is playing. We've seen FPX find success with this comp internationally before. It'll be the first time that EDG is playing it on a global stage though.
Oh boy. Well, we'll see the agent select here in a moment. These players are all seated and ready to go. Obviously, in these moments here, the pressure is on, without a doubt. But if you're EDG, you know, you feel a little bit better about this considering how things went on Sunset.
If you think back to the previous times we've seen this match, it has been like this before. It gets messy, the gloves come off, it comes down to the fight, and Prx are making a change. Solo Omen, solo Sky composition with a double duelist jet raise. That is a weird one in 2024.
Whoa.
I didn't really know what to make of this.
You know
they
what?
have the double duelist on defense and
go out your own way. Do it your own way, I guess.
You get shot,
it's gonna be
you die.
It's gonna be a death match. Basically, this map is gonna be a death match. It's just like everyone just taking these fights. I just want to see Chichu getting involved a little bit more. I believe he's starting on that defense side though, so it's, yeah. So, yeah, deathmatch.
Or on the attack to start for EDG. It's chaos here, but one of these teams here is coming to an end. And with the way they play, I feel like it couldn't go any other way.
All right, well, let's see how this all shakes out. My goodness, what a roller coaster this has been. Brendan Sideshow, have fun.
Oh, you know me. I mean, listen, man, listen. It's incredible these two teams agreed to the gentleman's agreement to have the final map be played as a deathmatch. But yeah, I am buzzing and looking forward to this one here because this is two teams. They rive in the mud. That word was getting tossed around quite a bit on the desk.
Certainly was.
And they love to clash and fight here.
Well, here's a big clash happening towards A Rubble to begin. And with both of these compositions, I'm looking at them. It looks like EDG should have a big advantage in any Rubble fights.
Yeah. Already seeing it. It's a flash to try and set them up nice and early here, but the nade cuts out the rest of Kangkang's team. EDG.
And Prx decide not to commit. They're looking to not even really trap, because otherwise you'd be expecting Mindfreak to be playing at that door. They're looking to just go for a 5-person re-clear.
And it's being held. There's almost an expectation of it from EDG with a Paranoia crossing its way up. And the noise cut. EDG, advantages to be found and had here, especially when the shots don't land and find that mark with Kangkang. He's doing entirely all that here. Aftershock into the corner, it's beautiful! And set the stage. And our map 3 into motion for EDG. They were so damn aware.
Yeah, that's such a sick read from EDG. The call there to completely hide, wait for Prx to re-clear, and notice that even when Prx are re-clearing, they don't trigger the fight. They only trigger the fight when the dog is used, when they realize that they're not just going to leave. EDG wanted the A site without any fuss. They didn't want to cause any trouble, but Prx had to decide to take the fight, so they made them pay.
Now with the guns in their hands as well, once more, same beginning. Doors opened up though.
I think the reason that Prx have changed their composition, by the way, to one that they used to run in the past, is because they're facing the Neon, Double Initiator, Clove. EDG's comp should want to go fast. It pushes a lot on the defense side as well. And so having those trips up, I guess Prx are just thinking is more valuable than running the double duelist, double initiator comp that they were previously testing out.
Yeah, it can be incredibly good.
It's an old comp though.
Heavy committal. This is Kangkang. He's trying to lock it down, but only 20 bullets into the clip. Luckily, he's got teammates and backup in spades. Nobody shuts down the eco round.
It gets fairly close to Nightfall. Probably won't have it online for round 3. So, looking like a bit of a dry bonus, but we'll have that for one of these potential swing rounds. At the end of the day, though, with all of our conversation around the compositions, I got to think back. The smartest man I know once said, "You get shot, you die," and he was quoting you.
Oh,
so,
well, how about that?
Yeah. Even some smart people will repeat what you say.
Exactly. Some signs of intelligent life coming from me. Nade up and over. This is Prx opting into the fight. The skirmish once more, but with Jing toppling, falling, something not able to evacuate. That was an updraft dash to survive, and Mindfreak is hard committed. Can't reset the aim. Only the one player found from that one. Devigon re-exploring. Util out into the few hands of these players, but already he's got to be aware of it, and yet sees the barrel. So now he knows his timing taken against him, but the Prowler waiting it. No way, Peak not together. Still, it's there. The Forsaken liner right behind him for EDG to barrel them over.
Brutal beginning to Paper X's Lotus. A map that they enjoy playing, but after how Sunset went, this is looking like a massive turnaround, a flip compared to map 1. EDG pick up Pistol, pick up the bonus round. This is what catapulted them to success in the second half of Sunset.
And already
couldn't be more different reactions from the coaching staff.
Absolutely, the Death Slam, you know what that signifies? The timeout button being hit.
After 3 rounds,
Yep.
the tag timeout.
And again, I mean, when it comes to strategy, it could be something as simple as like, guys, stop trying to opt into this A-Rubble fight when you're getting outvalued util. It could also just be mentality. It could just be him trying to calm the nerves. But the reason this is absurd is because Alex has literally just had the opportunity to do that 3 rounds ago before they were in the map.
Yeah, but he's obviously not focused on a specific element that Paper X are then messing up, or just wants to reiterate something, get them back onto the right track. It is crazy early for a tag timeout like this, though. And I think that indicates the stakes in this kind of situation. Everything that we were talking about on Icebox, about it being bitter disappointment for EDG, them fighting to break through in China, getting overtaken, they can't go out in groups and have a year of bombing out. Everything there also applies, perhaps even more, to Paper X.
It's mirrored, I think.
They used to fight for trophies. Been overtaken in Pacific, and now they might end up going out in groups here at Champs. A fate that they've met before. Though that did precipitate a roster change.
It certainly did. Once more EDG. Listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Face your fear!
These A-hits have been given access to the sites over and over again.
They realize it's a retake setup. They don't have very much retake utility on Paper X, so you've only got to worry about a Sky Flash and a Paranoia, really.
Trailblazer and the Boombot's already being used to try and...
Are they leaving?
Lay the path for Paper X, yeah. I mean, the util's already been used.
Paper X have read it. This is strange from EDG. They had the read, and now they're going into the stack.
Kang! Goodness me, close quarter combating. He's hoping and opting in for that upgrade, but it just opens his backup prime for the bullet to the back here. Smoggy also supplements off to the side, off angle from Divide, but not enough to stay alive. Simon! Goodness gracious me.
He has been so consistent for them in those tight situations, in the tough spots. Simon has been there already, paying dividends. The value that he's brought to this team. He's not always at the top of the scoreboard. He doesn't have the prettiest stats in the world, but he's good for big moments. That's an important asset, new player to have.
Trailblazer spotting these players out with the Paranoia. It's good to play themselves in, but Ching is caught, blinded up by it, and there's a smoke. It's Chicho with 3.
They get caught by an op play like that. Oh wow. Got aggressive into the site, making space for the rest of the team. And Paper X, I am loving the Howdong wow times now.
Mind Freak does peek up the flash and plays himself in, but EDG still holding strong. Not willing to be displaced from this position. Paper X might have that surrounded, but again, they are fully aware, EDG, knowing all the tricks up the sleeves of the Paper X players, the C's of the connection, all the acknowledgement you need. An open sight for the taking on to C, and an impossible situation for Jing to play.
EDG baiting out so many of the tools that Paper X wanted to play off. Absolutely broken something in that moment. He may never be the same player again after what Kang Kang just did to him. But they baited out the showstopper. Jing found no value. Baited out all the flashes from Divide. Punish him with a shot to the head. 9-3. If there is a glimmer of hope, it is a dark, small light in a vast
EDG just pulling off an absolutely unreal comeback overall in the series when they just got flattened map 1. The resilience is on display, and at the back of their minds, an unwillingness to go home. They need to prove that they can reach greater heights than they have done before in the past. And it starts with getting past an old rival. It starts with getting out of the groups.
Playoffs on the horizon. Both of these teams, they're only a map win away from getting through to playoffs, and as Alex said earlier in the coach interview, having that extra lifeline, having the ability to troll a little and be experimental with what you're doing. But one of these teams is so much closer to that map victory than the other. Double Sheriff in the hands of EDG. Smoggy's been lights out anytime he's played on Lotus, anytime he's playing Clove.
And this is a squeeze being applied, at least to Feign like they could be trying to fight over towards Mound and front section of B from EDG. I think the goal of it potentially is to cause a pivot from Prx into the high-low setup that they've got going on. At least with the Sheriffs, it's a cool strategy that EDG have brought out into the pistol, but
High lows.
yeah,
All over the place, on C, on A.
and this could tear Prx apart already to peaks if they're not timed correctly, which they're not. EDG ready for it, nobody still alive towards the back of the site, and no anticipation that it could have peaked itself over it. 3 in a round, denied the 4, but Chichu is fully there, entirely but a cleanup.
Absolutely in control, EDG. If it went over towards A, high-low, set up towards stairs. Horn didn't get broken, full information, dropped back into a high-low setup, and Simon and nobody, the IGL and the newcomer, doing so much work.
One enemy remaining.
And that is elation because EDG can feel it. Primed and ready to pounce. That last spot of the playoffs. It's almost theirs for the taking. No force in sight from Prx. Not opting into this one. They need the guns, but it is just shambolic. Smoggy. Pure mechanics on display. And he will just rip them all away.
11-3. EDG with no concept of mercy. No thought in the back of their mind of taking their foot off the neck of
Shameful.
Friends outside the server, bitter rivals inside.
One enemy remaining.
Smoggy is
hit
wiping
shot.
them away.
And it is just pure elation, isn't it? A matchup that they've just failed in so many times against this team. For Prx, guns in their hands. Now is the time to make the most of it. That a bit over aggressive. EDG making a go of things here. They're still hard committing into the fight. They make the call as well to try and at least collect themselves together, but the weaponry not favored on these long sight lines at least. Prx essentially just swat away these EDG players.
This was a strat that Foot very much struggled with. They found the right reaction
remaining.
by pushing into C, but then couldn't play the post plants properly. This time, Prx hold on. And like you say, use that advantage of having the better long-range weaponry. EDG are not going to fight like that in every round, though. It's something they'll throw in occasionally, and maybe less so now that Prx have showcased they're willing to stand their ground and fight. Forsaken, it is good to see him popping heads. He was notably absent on Sunset.
Enemy remaining.
A bit more passive, a bit more supportive on the breach, and he couldn't find the rifling.
Round by round.
Dude, I mean, that is like water over duck's back with the pressure for Prx. They are just having fun with it.
I mean, they've been in these positions before. They know the secret. It's just to have a short-term memory.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I mean, that's just so funny.
Devi is right on the money, though. It has to happen round by round, one at a time. Orbs farmed up. Mass migration now over towards the A side here. Chichu is alone taking this angle, but there's less to really threaten him off this spot when there's no Viper in the play as well. He can just jiggle this one for a bit of util, and he's even got Simon to help him out. With the Trailblazer cleared its way through. I believe both rifles fired off something, but a dash to disengage and pull that one back and around. Forsaken Cam up forwards. He spotted Kang.
Faster end, misery.
Doesn't want to try and take that fight towards it. Nobody with the door opened up wide will have to at least concede that space, give it up and hold the C's. Now into his hands, lets it loose. What a connection! Just absolutely running over these players. Prx steamrolled in the process. Jing, he'll have to do it all. But after shocking his back satchel away and the aim reset just not
No
there
comeback,
in
last
time.
match,
EDG
last round.
up to 12.
Last round.
Match point.
No comeback.
Nobody's utility was phenomenal last time we got to watch them on Lotus. He had seizes all over the place, connecting, and he's doing it again.
Enemy remaining.
The seize is amazing, Smoggy's follow-up is great, and then he just jumps in knowing that the rest of his team's got his back. And I think a bit of that
Oh, this is it.
stoic nature
Listen,
needs to be given to Alex here.
and let's get back into the fight because it could just be ending in a blink of an eye. The series, the tournament lifeline for Prx. Warded and postured. As I've said prior, they can't hold a candle to the amount of util that EDG can just pull out. So the A-Rubble control is theirs for now. One way's
There.
rejuvenated. Prx holding, biding their time, waiting to strike. The counter spam is there, updraft up and around as well. Swinging through, Paranoia is there, Showstopper needs that value. Jing, he's on a life that's unexpected, up on the high ground. Chi-Chu, he's trying to shut them down. Nobody's by his side, but the rifles, maybe. There's a lifeline. Into the hands of Prx and still with a minute to play with.
Nobody's pushing out.
Wow,
from
road
B.
better door.
Smoggy still
Omen
with his
is gonna
ultimate.
die.
An eerie calm drops towards rubble. An area that's known so much bloodshed and almost all of it going the way of EDG in this map.
Die already, these two.
Prx have carved out a small opening. Do they think
30
of the
seconds
flank?
The flank timing, nobody could shut this down, Dubai.
Wow.
The awareness is
How?
there.
Surely too difficult of a situation for Smoggy, even with how well he's been playing.
There's no time.
There's 15 seconds.
This time pressure could just spell defeat. And for
10
Smoggy to be the
seconds
hero his team needs in this spot, Defy. Planting, metal is used first. Lowering them down!
Oh, finish already?
Bring them down!
What a note, man,
Smoggy!
PRX. Go home, bro.
Destroys the hopes and dreams
suck.
of Prx. Knocks them out of groups.
PRX
Revenge
suck. Kang
has
suck.
been earned.
Fuck Kang
And a playoff picture potential there.
China dog.
EDG, the chances for them to go on a run now to reach greater heights than they have in the past have never been more present.
Well, after map one, it did not look like we were going to be seeing EDG making their way to playoffs. The second Chinese team to get out of groups behind explosive Trace, who surprised us all. But it is bitter disappointment there for Prx. A team used to fighting for trophies, who've been in those spots before in grand finals appearances, overtaken this year domestically by Gen G, and now grouped for the second time at Champions in their history. A rough year sliding downwards for them. It's a long off season to think over what could have been, but it's hugs on stage. They respect EDG, and how could you not? This team rallied back and put on a show. And Smoggy's individual performance was outstanding.
That was elite. 21-6 is where he's ended it all.
Very fitting way for it to end.
Yeah, it really is. Despite EDG being the last to qualify here for our playoffs, they are right on time for it. And as I said earlier, the world is essentially their oyster. You get that fresh reset as you head into the playoffs as well. And for them, a chance as well to do a little bit better than the disappointment at Shanghai.
And not just Shanghai, this is only their second win this year at a global event. Had they gone home, it would have been devastating their year as a whole. Not making it out of basically any situation. They got gifted that playoff.
That's why I said Nyan is too OP. My favorite hero of all
but
time.
Here today, they've turned a new leaf and are looking to try to bring that momentum further into playoffs. It's going to be a
chop.
tough road ahead, but I have been impressed with this squad.
Yeah. The improvement.